In this video, I will be discussing Black Deaf culture in the form of cultural scenarios. It is important to remember a few things when discussing culturally complex scenarios. First, there may not be a simple answer to the scenario. Second, you may have to think of many solutions before coming to a solution that works. Third, the solution that you pick may not make every involved party happy. And lastly, being able to analyze culturally complex scenarios and pick good solutions is a skill that is essential in the workplace. Suppose you are a hearing interpreter who is called to an interpreting assignment for a Black Deaf client who you know uses a lot of Black ASL. You know that sometimes you have a difficult time following what they are saying. What would you do in this situation? The possible solutions include A. Take the assignment and interpret what you understand. B. Tell the client you are unable to efficiently interpret for them and that they need to get another interpreter. Or C. Ask the client to use less Black ASL so you can understand what they are saying. Let's discuss this scenario now. Let's break down each solution. With A, if you were to take the assignment and only interpret what you understand, you could be missing crucial information. If you're interpreting in a legal or medical setting, it could be a life or death situation. It is extremely important for your interpretation to be as accurate as possible. Choice B could be a good option. You know that this assignment is probably too much for you, so you step out of this assignment and tell them that they need to get a different interpreter. Knowing your limits is important because if you can't efficiently interpret in a situation, you should not be in that situation. Option C probably is not a great option because the client should not have to completely adjust their culturally signing method for an interpreter to understand. Out of these three options, option B seems to be the best option, but you can always come up with more solutions for every scenario. There isn't just one choice that you can make. Let's look at scenario 2 now. Suppose you are a white hearing interpreter who arrives at an assignment for a Black Deaf client. The client insists on having a Black interpreter interpret for her, even though you know you are qualified and able to effectively interpret for them. You also know that there are very few Black interpreters in your area. What do you do in this situation? The possible solutions are A. Explain to the client that you are able to efficiently interpret for them and are qualified to do so. B. Contact your agency so they can find a Black interpreter for this client. And lastly, C. Just leave and let the client find a Black interpreter on their own. Now let's discuss this scenario. Option A seems like a good starting point. You should try and explain to this client that you are perfectly capable of interpreting efficiently for them. If they still refuse, then it would be a good idea to consider option B. Contacting your agency so they can find a Black interpreter for this client may be the right thing to do if this client is that uncomfortable with you. Option C is just not a good option. Just leaving and letting the client find their own Black interpreter is probably not the way to go about this. Both A and B are possible options to choose from. A combination of the two may be what is actually needed. You have to remember that there are many possible solutions and one answer may not be simply the correct answer. Knowing how to find solutions for situations like these is going to be an important skill to use in every profession.
Created using Powtoon.